In 2018, a data analyst noticed something strange about the Forbes Billionaire list. Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett. Every confirmed blood type was the same, type O. But when Korean researchers studied the country's most successful CEOs, they found something completely different. 1/3 of corporate leaders shared a blood type that was not O. It was type B. When Middle Eastern scientists measured IQ across thousands of subjects, the highest scores belonged to neither group. Type AB dominated the rankings. 3 different blood types, 3 different paths to success. And until recently, nobody could explain why. Then geneticists discovered something on Chromosome 9 that changes everything we thought we knew about success, intelligence, and the biological lottery you were born into. This is the investigation into blood type and wealth. The patterns hiding in plain sight. The discrimination scandal Japan tried to bury. And the uncomfortable question no one in mainstream science wants to answer. Is your financial destiny written in your blood? Before we can understand why different blood types dominate different paths to success, we need to examine each pattern separately. The evidence suggests these are not random correlations. Each blood type appears to come with its own biological advantages and disadvantages that shape how people build wealth. We start with type B, the blood type that dominates corporate boardrooms across Asia. In Seoul, South Korea, researchers conducted one of the most comprehensive surveys ever attempted on blood type and business success. They tested executives at the country's largest corporations, the chaebols that dominate the Korean economy. Samsung, Hyundai, LG, the companies that shaped modern Asia. The results shocked the research team. Roughly 1/3 of chief executive officers and company presidents tested as type B. In the general Korean population, type B makes up only about 27%. The overrepresentation was statistically significant and consistent across multiple industries. But the numbers alone do not tell the full story. When researchers compiled personality assessments of these executives, a clear pattern emerged. Type B individuals consistently scored higher on creative thinking, resistance to conformity, and the ability to see opportunities others missed. They were described as unconventional thinkers who built systems rather than followed them. The Korean data painted a picture of type B as the calculated empire builder, patient, strategic, willing to take risks, but only after careful analysis. Type A individuals, the most common blood type in Asian populations, appeared most frequently in middle management. Good employees, reliable workers, but rarely the founders or the rule breakers who built companies from nothing. This finding aligned with decades of Japanese research on blood type and occupation. A 2021 study by Kanazawa at Nihon University examined the blood types of Japanese prime ministers and professional athletes. The results were striking. Individual sport athletes, people who compete alone rather than on teams, showed disproportionate type B representation. Baseball players, sumo wrestlers, and golfers were overrepresented, examples of professions that reward independent thinking rather than team conformity. Researchers proposed an explanation rooted in personality psychology. Type B individuals, in both Japanese and Korean cultural frameworks, are characterized by what psychologists call low agreeableness and high openness. They resist conformity. They question authority. They pursue their own vision, even when others disagree. These traits make type B individuals difficult employees. They do not follow rules they consider pointless. They challenge bosses they do not respect. They prioritize their own creative vision over team harmony. But these same traits make them exceptional founders and leaders. Building a company from nothing requires ignoring conventional wisdom. It requires betting on your own judgment when everyone else says you are wrong. It requires the stubborn individualism that makes Type B people frustrating to work with, but uniquely suited to entrepreneurship. The Korean data suggested something profound. The corporate ladder selects for Type B, not because corporations prefer them. Corporations often find them difficult. The ladder selects for Type B because only they possess the psychological makeup to reach the top. But if Type B dominates corporate leadership, why does a completely different blood type appear among the world's richest individuals? This is where Type O enters the picture, and where the pattern becomes genuinely disturbing. The Forbes Billionaire observation started as an internet curiosity. Someone noticed that among the top 10 richest people in 2018, every confirmed blood type was Type O. Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs before his death. Multiple sources suggested Warren Buffett. The pattern was too consistent to ignore. Now skeptics correctly point out that this is not a controlled study. Blood types are not systematically tracked for billionaires. The sample is small, and the data is incomplete. But then, researchers started finding supporting evidence in places they did not expect. In 1991, a study published in the Southern Medical Journal examined personality differences between blood types using the Type A behavior scale. This scale measures competitiveness, achievement drive, time urgency, and aggression, the exact traits associated with extreme business success. Type O individuals scored significantly higher than every other blood type. They were not just more competitive, they showed measurably higher aggression, and a drive to dominate that other blood types simply did not match. Separate studies measuring cortisol levels found something equally striking. Type O individuals showed the lowest baseline cortisol of any blood type, just 297 nanomoles per liter, compared to 455 for Type A. Cortisol is the stress hormone. Lower baseline cortisol means cooler heads under pressure, less anxiety when making decisions that would paralyze others. Consider what this combination produces: higher aggression, higher competitiveness, and a lower stress response. A biological profile optimized for high-stakes decisions that terrify normal people. Think about what distinguishes a millionaire from a billionaire. A millionaire builds a successful company. A billionaire bets everything on exponential growth when the safe choice would be to consolidate. A millionaire diversifies risk. A billionaire concentrates risk on a single vision. The transition from successful entrepreneur to the world's richest person almost always involves decisions that rational analysis would reject. Elon Musk poured his entire PayPal fortune into Tesla and SpaceX when both companies were months from bankruptcy. Jeff Bezos ran Amazon at massive losses for years, constantly expanding when investors demanded profitability. Steve Jobs bet Apple on a phone when the company was known for computers. Those decisions looked insane at the time. They required a risk tolerance that goes beyond strategic thinking. They required the biological capacity to feel comfortable when everyone else is panicking. Type O, according to the cortisol and aggression data, may be biologically optimized for exactly this kind of decision-making. Not smarter than other blood types, not more strategic, but more capable of pulling the trigger on bets that would give other people nervous breakdowns. Type O seems more likely to make the moves that normal caution rejects. Type B builds empires through strategy and patience. Type O builds them through chaos and calculated aggression. The Korean CEO data suddenly makes sense alongside the billionaire pattern. Type B dominates conventional corporate success because building a sustainable company requires strategic thinking, creative problem solving, and the ability to work within systems while slowly reshaping them. But becoming a billionaire often requires something different entirely. It requires bets so aggressive that calculated thinkers would not make them, decisions that look insane until they work. The kind of moves that turn a garage startup into a trillion-dollar company. Jeff Bezos did not become the richest person on Earth by making careful, conservative choices. He made bets that analysts called suicidal. He ran Amazon at a loss for years, while competitors laughed. He required a risk tolerance that goes beyond normal entrepreneurship. In short, the biological data suggest type O may be optimized for extreme risk-taking. That does not mean destiny, but it helps explain why some people pull the trigger when others cannot. But if type O is the most aggressive and type B is the most strategic, which blood type is the smartest? This is where type AB creates a paradox that researchers still cannot fully explain. In early 2025, scientists from universities across the Middle East published a comprehensive study measuring IQ scores across thousands of participants. They sorted results by blood type, expecting to find either type O or type B at the top, given their success in business. Instead, type AB dominated the rankings. Average IQ for type AB subjects was 104.2. Type A followed at 102.4. Type O came in third at 101.5. And type B, the corporate chief executive officer blood type, scored lowest at 100.8. Jordanian university researchers found the same pattern using academic performance data. Type AB students achieved the highest grade point averages. They outperformed every other blood type on standardized tests. Type AB is the rarest blood type, found in only about 4% of the global population. Yet they consistently score highest on cognitive measures across multiple countries and multiple testing methods. The rare nature of type AB may be significant. Type AB individuals possess both A and B antigens on their red blood cells, and they are a genetic combination of the two most common blood group systems. This unique biology might create cognitive advantages that neither parent type possesses alone. Some researchers speculate that type AB individuals benefit from hybrid vigor. The combination of A and B genetic variants might produce more optimal versions of nearby genes, including potentially favorable dopamine beta-hydroxylase variants that influence cognitive function. Others point to the correlation between type AB and lower rates of certain cardiovascular conditions. Better blood flow to the brain could theoretically support cognitive performance over a lifetime. But the most honest answer is that scientists do not know why type AB scores highest. The pattern is consistent across studies, but the mechanism remains unknown. So why aren't type AB individuals dominating the billionaire lists? The answer may lie in what intelligence actually measures versus what wealth creation requires. IQ tests measure pattern recognition, logical reasoning, and problem-solving speed. Academic success rewards consistency, rule-following, and performance within established systems. Neither of these directly measures risk tolerance. Neither measures aggression. Neither measures the willingness to bet everything on a vision that everyone else thinks is crazy. Type AB individuals may be optimized for intellectual achievement within existing structures. They excel in academia, research, and established professional paths. But the traits that create extreme wealth, the aggression of type O and the creative independence of type B, operate on a different biological axis entirely. Now comes the question that makes this investigation genuinely unsettling. If you're finding this investigation valuable, like and subscribe. We decode hidden patterns in science and history every week. Now let's continue with the discovery that explains everything. In 1988, geneticists at Washington University made a discovery that should have changed how we think about blood type and personality. But the implications were so controversial that mainstream science largely ignored it. The dopamine beta-hydroxylase gene, known as DBH, sits on chromosome 9 at position 9q34. This is the exact same chromosomal region where the ABO blood type gene is located. They are neighbors, and they are inherited together. Wilson, Elston, and their colleagues published findings in the American Journal of Human Genetics showing that a gene regulating DBH activity is genetically linked to the ABO blood group locus. The statistical evidence was overwhelming. The paper reported a LOD score of 5.88, far exceeding the threshold for confirmed genetic linkage. Here is why this matters. The dopamine beta hydroxylase gene, known as DBH, is an enzyme that converts dopamine into norepinephrine in your brain. The ratio between these two neurotransmitters shapes fundamental aspects of personality. Dopamine influences creativity, introversion, and reward-seeking behavior. Norepinephrine influences aggression, extroversion, and stress response. Different versions of the DBH gene produce different amounts of this enzyme. High DBH variants convert more dopamine to norepinephrine. Low DBH variants leave more dopamine intact. And here is the connection that changes everything. Type O blood group alleles tend to be inherited alongside high DBH gene variants. That produces more norepinephrine, more aggression, more extroversion, and a lower stress response. Exactly the biological profile we see in the personality studies. Type B blood group alleles tend to be inherited alongside low DBH gene variants. That preserves more dopamine, more creativity, more introversion, and more calculated thinking. Exactly what the Korean CEO research describes. Your blood type did not directly make you aggressive or creative. But when you inherited your blood type, you also likely inherited a specific version of the dopamine regulation gene that sits right next to it. The pattern is not blood type causing personality. Instead, blood type can serve as a marker for a different genetic trait that shapes your brain chemistry. This helps explain why type O often dominates extreme wealth. Higher norepinephrine produces the aggression and stress tolerance needed for extreme risk-taking. It could also explain why type B is overrepresented among corporate leaders. Higher dopamine supports the creativity and strategic patience needed for sustainable empire building. And it could explain why type AB tends to score highest on IQ tests. Their unique combination of A and B alleles may create a different DBH profile, optimized for cognitive tasks. The biological mechanism is real. The genetic linkage is confirmed. The personality correlations appear in multiple studies. But before we conclude that blood type determines destiny, we need to examine what happens when a society actually believes this. The evidence is hiding in plain sight in Japan. Japan has been obsessed with blood type personality for nearly a century. The theory traces back to 1927, when Takeji Furukawa published research claiming blood type predicted temperament. His work was later used by the Imperial Army to breed ideal soldiers and to characterize colonized populations. In the 1970s, journalist Masahiko Nomi revived the theory with best-selling books that classified blood types into personality archetypes. Type O were warriors, confident, risk-taking, natural leaders. Type B were nomads, creative, individualistic, free-spirited, but selfish. Type A were farmers, meticulous, anxious, team-oriented. Type AB were artisans, rational, enigmatic, unpredictable. The cultural penetration is almost impossible to overstate. A book series on blood type personality sold 5.4 million copies in Japan between 2007 and 2008. Blood type appears on dating profiles, job applications, and morning television horoscopes. Convenience stores sell blood type-specific products, including soft drinks, chewing gum, and bath salts. 99% of Japanese people know their blood type. Surveys indicate 29 to 45% actively believe blood type determines personality, and this belief has created real discrimination. They call it Bura-Hara, blood harassment. Professor Shigeyuki Yamaoka surveyed over 5,000 Japanese workers and found that 28% of type B individuals reported experiencing discrimination based on their blood type. Compare this to just 9.3% of type O and only 2.3% of type A. 3 out of 4 type B people had received verbal abuse related to their blood group at some point in their lives. Some hide their blood type entirely. They are known as closet B people. The discrimination extends into hiring. In 2004, a Japanese agricultural cooperative publicly announced it would only hire type O and type B blood types. They asked type AA and type AB applicants not to apply because they supposedly lacked drive. The Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare has since explicitly forbidden employers from asking candidates about blood type. But enforcement is difficult in a culture where blood type permeates daily conversation. Job interviews do not need to explicitly ask about blood type. Interviewers simply make conversation about horoscopes and personality, and candidates volunteer the information without realizing they are being screened. The Broadcasting Ethics and Program Improvement Organization issued formal warnings to television stations in 2004 after blood type personality appeared on over 70 programs in a single year. The organization cited concerns about promoting discrimination against specific blood types. Dating presents similar challenges. A 2013 Korean survey found that 32% of women specifically avoided dating type B men. They were stereotyped as playboys, commitment-phobic, and emotionally unreliable. Korean dating agencies reported that type B men were the hardest clients to match, regardless of their actual personality or achievements. Some type B individuals in both Japan and Korea have resorted to lying about their blood type. They claim to be type O or type A to avoid automatic rejection in dating and professional contexts. The phenomenon is common enough to have generated its own terminology. But here is what makes the Japanese situation truly disturbing. Researchers studying blood type personality in Japan found measurable self-fulfilling prophecy effects. Sakamoto and Yamazaki analyzed 32,347 samples from opinion polls spanning 1978 to 1988. They found that blood type stereotypes actually influenced how people described their own personalities. A separate study at Yonsei University in Korea tested this directly. Subjects showed blood type consistent differences on questionnaires about stereotyped traits. But when given standardized Big Five personality tests, the differences vanished completely. The personality variations are real in self-report, but they reflect internalized cultural narratives, not biology. People who believe type O means a confident leader unconsciously become more confident. People who believe type B means a selfish individualist are treated that way. Japan is not responding to biological reality. Japan is creating biological outcomes through social expectation. This brings us to the uncomfortable final section, the part where we have to acknowledge what the data actually shows versus what we want it to show. The largest and most rigorous studies find almost no relationship between blood type and personality. Kengo Nawata's 2014 analysis of over 10,000 Japanese and American subjects found that blood type explained less than 0.3% of personality variance. That's 0.3%, essentially zero. Studies using the Big Five personality framework from Australia, Canada, Taiwan, Iran, and multiple other countries all converge on the same conclusion. No meaningful differences between blood types. The dopamine connection on chromosome 9 is real. The genetic linkage is confirmed. But if ABO blood type substantially influenced personality, modern genome-wide association studies with hundreds of thousands of subjects would detect it, and they do not. The Forbes Billionaire pattern is an observation, not a study. No one has systematically documented blood types for wealthy individuals. The data simply does not exist. The Korean CEO findings come from surveys with limited sample sizes and self-reported blood types that were not independently verified. The IQ differences between blood types amount to 3 to 4 points. Statistically detectable, but meaningless at the individual level. So where does this leave us? The honest answer is somewhere between complete debunking and confirmed science. The biological scaffolding for a blood-type personality connection exists. The DBH gene linkage is real. The dopamine and norepinephrine pathway to personality is well established. The cortisol differences between blood types are documented. But the bridge between these molecular mechanisms and detectable personality differences has not been crossed in large controlled studies. The effects, if they exist at all, are too small to matter for any individual. What the Japanese experience shows is that beliefs about blood type create real outcomes, regardless of biological truth. Discrimination, harassment, self-fulfilling prophecy. When a society decides that blood type determines destiny, blood type starts determining destiny, not through genetics, but through social engineering. The Forbes Billionaire pattern might be real, or it might be coincidence in a small sample. We genuinely do not know. The Korean CEO pattern might reflect biology, or it might reflect decades of blood type discrimination shaping who gets promoted in Asian corporate culture. The IQ differences might be genetic, or they might be statistical noise in imperfect studies. What we can say with certainty is this: the question of blood type and success touches something uncomfortable about human nature. The desire to believe that success is earned through merit conflicts with evidence that genetics play a larger role than we want to admit. The belief that anyone can succeed conflicts with biological lottery tickets distributed before birth. Blood type probably is not a major factor in wealth or success. The effect sizes are too small. The evidence is too inconsistent. But the pattern exists. Scientists found the genetic linkage. Multiple studies show personality correlations. The Forbes billionaires and Korean CEOs cluster by blood type in ways that demand explanation. Something is happening at the intersection of genetics and success that mainstream science has not fully decoded. And until they do, this investigation remains open. The next time you read about a billionaire who made an impossible bet that paid off, consider the possibility that their biology made that bet feel less impossible to them. The next time you meet a corporate executive who built an empire through patient strategy, consider that their brain chemistry might reward that approach over impulsive gambling. And the next time someone asks your blood type in a job interview in Tokyo or a dating app in Seoul, understand that you are participating in a social experiment that has been running for a century. An experiment in whether beliefs about biology can become biological reality through social pressure alone. We do not know if blood type determines financial destiny. The evidence is too inconsistent, the effect sizes too small, the billionaire data too incomplete. But we know the question terrifies mainstream science. We know the genetic linkage exists. We know the personality correlations appear in study after study, even as researchers insist they should not. Your blood type will not determine your destiny, but it might be one small piece of a genetic signature that influences your path more than anyone has been willing to admit. The truth is written in your blood. Scientists are still learning how to read it. Like and subscribe